I've had hundreds of requests for me to make you guys profile pictures, and today's your lucky day. I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to make them.
Alright, so first things first is you're gonna want to go to my Discord server, and you want to click right here, and then you want to make sure it's on show all channels. Then you want to scroll down to rigs I use, and then download this one right here. Alright, so next you're going to want to search up Blender on your browser and download it, and then you're gonna want to extract the file that I gave you and import it into Blender. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna work on is the color of the gorilla. So I'm gonna click on the gorilla right here, and then I'm gonna go to this little beach ball right here. You wanna click on that, and then you wanna find primary color. And then you can type in the color code right here, or if you just want to be fancy, you could just go around the color wheel. Alright, and if you want to change the color of the eyes, this is optional, but you can do this. So you're going to also want to click on the gorilla. If you're already clicked on it, you just go to the beach ball again, and then you find eye color. There is another color wheel, but you could just type in the color code you need. And then, by the way guys, to make the color lighter, you just scroll up on this wheel right here, and to make it darker, you scroll down. Alright, so the first thing is you're gonna want to change the pose and the facial expressions. This is a very simple step, but make sure you follow along. Alright, so you want to click on these little things right here, or you can just click on the outside body. Then you want to go up to object mode up here, and then click on that and change it to pose mode. Alright, so for the face, it's just this one right here. This is the mouth. So we've got all of these. And then for the eyes, you just click on this one right here, and then you can scroll up. There's a lot of options. And then you've got the fur on the third one. Alright, so for the face, it's just this one right here. This is the mouth. So we've got all of these. And then for the eyes, you just click on this one right here, and then you can scroll up. There's a lot of options. And then you've got the fur on the third one. But for this certain PFP, I'm going to bring it up to the yelling and the closed eyes. Alright, now for the gorilla pose, you're going to want to click on the outside of the body. If you're already on pose mode, that's where you need to be. And guys, this is probably the most important step on your gorilla if you want it to look really good. Today, I'm just keeping it simple, but it's going to be really easy. Alright, and I forgot to tell y'all about the cosmetics. That is in the Nacho Engines rig server, and you're just gonna want to scroll up to the top of the cosmetics in there, and just scroll up to the top and download all cosmetics. The link will be in my description. Alright, and once you have downloaded those cosmetics, you want to go to append right here on file. You want to click append, and then you want to go to downloads. You want to find the all cosmetics that was in the server. Then you want to click append, and then you want to go to object and search the exact cosmetic you need. And for today's video, this is the only cosmetic I'm going to be needing. Alright, so once you have finished all the cosmetics and your pose, you're going to want to click on this camera button right here, and make sure you're in object mode, guys. Click this camera button and position it how you want. If you want to move the camera, just click on your scroller and just move it around. I'm going to put it to right there. That is perfect. Alright, there are a couple more steps before we render the image. So first things first is you're going to want to click on the gorilla again, and then you're going to want to right click on your mouse. And then you want to find Shade Auto Smooth. Click that. And then you're going to want to find this little manager right here. You're going to want to click on that. Check off this and put this to 180 degrees. Then what you're going to want to do is you want to click on this little camera button up here and find the time limit. Put this to 5 minutes. Then you want to click on the output button right here, and then you want to click on this file format. Click on it, click PNG, and then click RGBA. And now we can render the image. You're gonna want to go to the top of the page, click render, and render image. Alright, and this is the final step. You're gonna want to go onto your browser and go to this website called Photopea. Then when you're in Photopea, you're gonna want to click new project. Then click on YouTube profile. They have YouTube thumbnail and a lot more. So, for this one, I'm going to put it on YouTube profile, and then you're going to want to click create. Alright, and then when you are here, you're going to want to go to your files and drag in the PFP and make sure it has the little copy button. Then you're going to want to click the check mark right here. Alright, so now for the camera raw. This is probably one of the most important things on your thumbnails or PFPs. So you're going to want to make sure that you are clicked on the gorilla. You're going to want to go to filter, and you're going to want to click camera raw. For this, I would put the exposure at 0.2, contrast at about 8, highlights at about 13, shadows at about 7. And then for the whites, I would put it about at like -10. And then blacks for about 11 to 13. And then you want to go to vibrance. You want to skip all the others, but you want to go to vibrance. Put this about to 23, and then put this one to about 12. And then you want to put the texture to 29. What this does is this just makes the gorilla look so much better in your PFPs or thumbnails. Alright, the next thing to do is we're going to be importing the background. Me personally, I make my own backgrounds, but y'all can import your own if you would like to. But in today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how I make my own backgrounds. Alright, first things first is you're going to want to click on this background right here. Then you're going to want to go to this color options. You could switch between them, but I like that color probably how it is right now. I'm going to bring this up a little higher, and then I make it this one like lighter, like maybe that, and then I make this one the darkest it could possibly be. So this just makes it look really well and really well designed. And then what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to click on this brush right here. You want to click on it, and then you want to go up right here. Then you're gonna want to put this up to about 30. Then you can click off of here. Now this is a very important part. You will not color over your gorilla, but you can start coloring the entire background to where you cannot see any white. Alright, now it's time for the outline of the gorilla. So I'm going to be clicking on this. I'm going to double click it, okay? And then a lot of this is going to come up. Do not worry. I know this looks really stressful and hard, but do not worry. I'm going to be walking you through it step by step. Alright, so you're going to want to go to the bottom one. You're going to want to check it off, and then you're going to want to double click it. Okay, so as you can tell, and by the way, you can just grab this top and move it. So as you can tell, it looks really weird right now. So I'm going to change the color to white all the way. I'm going to make the opacity 100, put the angle about 50. It depends on what type of angle your gorilla is at. You can do it however you want. Probably going to make it like that, about 61 for this one. And then for distance, you're going to want to put it at 4. And then you're going to want to go to darken and put it at 0. This just gives it a really good looking texture. Then you're going to want to click on drop shadow. And that's pretty much all you need to do. You can double click it, and if you want to adjust the stuff, you can. I'm not really going to be adjusting it today, but that's just how I'm going to keep it. And then this is optional. This is what I like to do, but you don't have to. So you can click outer glow, double click it again. I like to do this and like kind of give it like a lighter color, and then put the opacity up to here, and then put the spread to however much you want and the size to however much you want. This just gives it like a real aura looking thing. I don't know why, but it just looks really tough. So I just like to do this on my PFPs. This is optional, by the way. You do not have to do this. Alright, so now we're going into shading. This is probably the most definite, important part of your thumbnails and your PFPs. Especially thumbnails. PFPs don't really matter as much, but in your thumbnails, those matter quite a bit. So you're going to want to click on the gorilla. You're going to go over to your task manager over here, and then you're going to want to find this little guy right here. It's probably going to show up as a lollipop, but you're going to want to put it to burn tool. How you do this is you can click on this one right here and then right click it. Okay, so you click on it, right click it, and then click to burn tool. Then go up to the top, make the size about 78 to 72. You're going to want to put the hardness down to all the way down to 0. Then you're going to want to do this. Okay, do not worry about this. You can just click confirm. There's nothing wrong with it, trust me. Alright, now this is probably the most important part. You just want to do the outlines, just a little bit of the gorilla on the outsides that are like really dark. You want to get in the armpits a lot, quite a bit, and then in the face quite a bit on the edges. And then you could like darken up cosmetics if you want. And guys, on this part, you do not want to do too much or else it will look really bad. Alright guys, before we go any further, thank y'all so much for getting this far in the video if you have. And it would help me out if you could please just like and subscribe in this video. And I might be making a part 2 about how to make thumbnails. So if you want that, make sure to like, subscribe this video. Alright, so this is about it I do for my PFPs. But I'm just going to add a little signature because I really like to do this. I put it like down here. And then I put this to about 75. This just like allows like to give you a little watermark. For me, I put it on background and then put it at white, and then I put TCTZ for the CT zone. This just like lets people know that it was my work and no one can steal it.